Boom, we're here. No. Hello, everybody. If you were in the backstage, you would understand why I did that goofiness. How's everybody doing? How's everything going? I hope you're having a great Sunday. I got up at like, I don't know, 6:30 in the morning and wanted donuts. So I went to the grocery store. And I got donuts and chicken wings. Guess what we're having for dinner? The donuts. No, I'm joking.
I mean, did you have a couple before you went, or what inspired that? You were like donuts and chicken.
Okay, so I'm doing the fall temp job thing that I kind of did last year, and the other day I didn't have time. Well, I was supposed to go to the grocery store before the temp job, and I forgot, and so I ended up. Even though I have to be up at like 6 in the morning to go to that, I woke up a little bit earlier because I was like, well, I have to have snacks. So I will go to the grocery store and get donuts. And I'm not generally a donut person. I really wanted Danish, but they didn't have the Danishes. So I ended up getting a donut and I was like, fine, whatever. And then it was like the best thing ever. I don't know why. Either I was just hungry. It was because I was out in the cold. I have no idea. But I was like, oh my God, this donut is amazing. So therefore, I've had a taste for a donut since Wednesday or Thursday. And so then last night, I had a taste for chicken wings, lemon pepper chicken wings. And I was going to go yesterday. But then after the Saturday shorts, I was just like, nah, because by the time I go and then come home and then they thaw and blah, blah, it just seemed like a lot. So I was like, maybe I'll do it. I don't know. We'll see. And then I woke up this morning. I was just like, I'm up on time. Let's go. And so, yeah, so I went and got donuts and chicken wings. And then, not to take us completely off topic, but seriously, how do you, I know we're completely off anyway. Like, how do I make a list? But I know. I just wanted donuts and chicken wings. First of all, I end up with a list of like 20 things. Then I go to the grocery store. I only picked up like maybe 2 things that were not on the list. Almost $100. What is that?
It's life. It's being okay, so
welcome to the writer's room.
I was like, yeah, welcome. Other than chicken wings and donuts, tell us about yourself.
It doesn't make any sense, but there you go. This is what we do. We get together, we talk, we help people figure out their stories, we figure out our own stories. Case in point, today we are working on Miss Morgan, aka
Kaya
Sloan. The C.
Kaya Sloan is my paranormal romance author pen name.
There we go, Kaya Sloan. So we are helping her. I am going to go through the chat really fast and then to say hi to everybody, and then we're going to let everybody on the screen introduce themselves, and we're going to dig right in. So Barrett was the first person right over there. He said, hi friends, don't forget to snug up with that like button and go ahead and hit a home run with that subscribe button, which I love all the metaphors. JC said, I have snuggled up to the like button and taken my virtual seat as I wait for the show to begin. Yay. Richard came in and said, wait, is this tonight? It's a Sunday. It is a Sunday. Hey, Richard. Which also JC said, hey, Richard. Eva came in, said, hey. JC also said, hey. I'm assuming that's when we first showed up. Jennifer came in and said, hey, friends. Hello, Jennifer. Felicia is here, said hello. Barrett said hi to everybody. Just Eva said, I have some animal cake pre-rolls. Sounds interesting. Closest I can get to a pastry. Love it, because we love a good pastry. Barrett was like, Eva, with some emojis. Eva also said donuts and chicken wings, perfect Midwest breakfast. I mean, you know, if I made like, what is it? Country fried chicken. Absolutely. JC was like, how? I know. Hamburger is like £7 now, I think, or $7 a pound, which is insane. Wow. We snuggled and battened at the light butt I don't know what I'm saying, guys. You know what I mean. Jason Nia's here. She says hello. Angel Faye is here. Says hi, Tiff and chat. Laura's here. Yo ho ho. Love it. Green Ruled is here. Good afternoon, friends. Do we know Green Ruled? I don't know if I know this name.
I don't know. Hello, welcome.
I've seen.
Hello, welcome. If you are new here, welcome. We love having new people. If you were here and I've missed you before, then I'm so sorry, but it's good to see you again. And Eva also said, Susie sells seashells. Really, Eva? So give me a tongue test. And I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let Barrett introduce himself. Okay.
Ruled. If you want us to call you by something else, let us know the name. Otherwise, you'll be Green or Green Ruled, depending on how fast we're talking, and it'll be real fast.
Mhm.
Hi, I'm Barrett. I hang out with these lovely ladies once a week to work on our stories behind the scenes. So occasionally we get our shit together enough to come on here and do it with you all live. Welcome. Notice we dressed up for the occasion too, because we're the type that are like, you know what, we're going to put on a show for these people. So, welcome to our living rooms where we hang out and talk shop on our stories. Today, we're talking about Morgan's, which is so good. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. It's wonderful. And then for us to talk a little bit about it, over on my channel on Fridays, we do flash fiction prompts, which are eventually going to end up in my newsletter as soon as I get my stuff together enough to get one. So sign up for that when it starts. Friday nights, sometimes Saturdays when work's a bitch. And this once a month with these lovely ladies where we work on projects. Let us know if you want us to work on yours. We'd love to have you on. Otherwise, one of these times we may just do what we do backstage. Sometimes we don't have a story and gossip. So, whatever. It's an hour. We'll fill it. That was fun. Morgan, take it away.
Hello, everyone. My name is Morgan Lee. I am an indie author of 2 books so far. First 2 in a dark fantasy trilogy. Book 3 will be coming out sometime early next year. I'm also going to be writing under the pen name Kaya Sloan for paranormal romance. And that's the story that we're going to be talking about today. So that's me.
Awesome. And you are on my channel. I am Tiffany, otherwise known as TRS, and one half of Desleray. We do have a number of different stories out with Desleray, and I do have my own individual one, Speed of My Heart. So please go check them out. And JC did say that Green World has been here. Wait, hold on. I clicked the wrong one. Green World has been here before, so I am so sorry if I don't remember the name, but welcome, as always. And then we have a bunch of welcomes and hays for Green Ruled, and then finally finished transferring my handwritten notes to Plotter, which I like because it was supposed to be hand, but the way I'm talking right now, I could have messed that up with it actually being hand. And then Eva, really, Tiff talks to teachers and tacos on Tuesdays at 2. Thank you for all of the tongue twisters. Some hellos for JC, Nia, and Laura, and yes, tacos. I'm not Tiff. I don't know why she does what she does. Like, seriously, Eva, you are insane. And some more hays, some JCs, some good afternoons, all the great stuff. I finished everything on my list except an excerpt Barrett sent me. That's what I'm working on. If these are sprints, they are not sprints, but
What I sent her. That's funny.
I mean, still work on them.
I hope it's good.
He's like, what?
I'm like, what?
Gwenna is here. Our mama comes in and says, hello, friends, virtual hugs. Regina! Hello, friends. I haven't run errands, but I'll catch as much as I can. Or I have to run errands. There we go. Some Gwennas, some J's. Hold on, JC's, if my chat hadn't jumped. Another Regina. A Gwenna, a Regina. It's amazing. Also, I don't know. I haven't opened it.
Yeah.
Which is
just it's amazing. Just tell everybody it's amazing. It's amazing. Best thing I've ever read.
Ania, and also I wrote the last scene of my short paranormal during Zero Stream this morning. Awesome. Feeling so good about that. Y'all have keep me going for over 3 years. That is lovely. And we're so excited. Want to read it. So yay, some more highs, and we are done. So Morgan, tell us what we got. We're about to jump into. Tell us what we have going on. Tell us what you wrote, what we're loving, what all the things are.
Okay. So this is the first book in paranormal romance series. This series is about angels. So book 1 follows Amara, who is like a soul collector, and Celine, who is a horticultural therapist. And they fall in love, and supernatural things happen in the town of Black River, Kansas. And what else? So what I'm looking for in like help with the story is if the supernatural elements are like incorporated well into the story, and if I have too much story.
What do you
because
mean?
like
Do you feel it getting long, or like do you
yeah.
need too wordy?
Oh,
We're at,
okay.
what, 22 pages, and we want to land somewhere like Tiffany, page wise. Where do you guys normally land? Because is this short read, Morgan?
Yeah, that was going to be my
This
question.
this is gonna I was shooting for 2 hour read, so I
Sure.
didn't want to go above
Okay.
20,000 words though. 20 to like 22,000 maybe.
So what would that be, like 80 to 105 pages? Audience, help
Yeah, but it would be 80
us.
to 100 pages for KDP. So I'm trying to think. I think because Speed of My Heart is right at about 21K, I want to say. And I think it was somewhere between 70 and 60. Hold on. I can pull it up. I'm
I was
actually
like,
in.
you're on your computer.
Well, but I have to be in Google Drive in order to pull it up. So that's
Oh,
why I was like, I think I can pull it
oh, here we go.
up to make sure.
2 page.
But I think that's where you need to land. So,
Because
I'm questioning now.
I don't know if I want to say like the whole like plot of the story, but I feel like I have a lot going on and I think it's too much and not too much like it's not focused enough around
Okay.
romance.
With my
Oh,
copyright cover, all of the images for Speed of My Heart, it was 63 pages. And I can tell you the exact word count. It was 23. And actually, this one edged out of any of the hour long reads. Like it does not come up in the 2 hour read category. So you're probably going to want to stay a little bit under the 20 or closer to 21. And like I said, I was at 63 pages. So, and that's with, cover page, copyright, table of contents, this author, about this author, otherwise written or other things written by is where I landed.
Okay.
Well, let's do this. So let's start with talking about is the story too big? But so that folks know what we know.
Oh, back from dinner.
little-
That's
a
why
little-
you asked if it was tonight. Got it.
It's 7 hours ahead. A little do
Yeah,
your
I totally didn't get that at one point. Oh, we have a couple of things in the comments. Regina said, oh, this is for hers. I thought she was talking about for yours because I read the 90-minute, but hers is around 16K, so 1 hour to 90-minute read. Set in a vampire universe, too short for gasping and crying. Oh, so yeah, depending on, okay, go ahead. Fair.
Well, I was thinking let's tackle the second question first, and then the magic system questions later. But first, so they know what we know in context, why don't you read a little bit and tell them the title and give them like a elevator pitch of like what the story is, so they know a little bit to throw in some ideas. Or do you want us to
Give
help
it
you
all away.
based on what we read?
Okay. Okay, let me.
Sorry, we really put you on the spot. We never do this to other guests. So if you come on here, you'll be well prepared for every moment of the show. We'll have an outline, maybe.
Yeah, all that sounds really good. But, Esther, we're not. So there you go. While you're pulling all that up, I'm going to go through a couple of things. Just even said 9 to 12K words is about an hour read, which I do believe is right. That's what what set my own word limit count.
Oh.
I'm going to try this again. I'm saying that's what she setting her own word limits. Regina also said it's hard for me to reveal plot as well because once I tell the story, I don't want to write it. As well as Eva also said, if you suspect too much story, quote, look and see if you can start the story in a later scene, which I'm not positive you can.
No.
Using the current start as a prologue, this is a way to cut words in a big way, I found. But too much story isn't a real thing. It's more about the pacing.
I agree with that, and I think your pace right now is great. So like if you keep the pace you have right now, you can, and if the story is really just going to be around those two characters and the other characters, which you're going to read a little bit about them so you'll know them. If they're just peripheral, then did I say that word right? Peripheral.
Mhm.
Okay, peripheral. If they remain like secondary characters, I think you're fine because we don't
Okay.
have to follow all of those other threads. But
Right.
throwing in all of that context for those two gives so much buy-in, especially for that cliffhanger at the end of chapter 3.
Okay. Because there's like a lot more. There's more characters in the following chapters. So
Of
then I
course.
feel like I'm adding too many.
As long as they stay, well, Tiffany, correct me if I'm
Well,
wrong.
you
There's
do
two.
love characters.
That's true. But Tiffany, to correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't read nearly as much paranormal romance as you have. But in the ones I've read and loved, they have tons and tons of characters, especially these small town like wolf stories where there's like packs upon packs. But as long as they stay small, like their parts are truly just small to drive the story forward, they don't ever really take up much space in my brain as a reader. I still stay
Okay.
focused on the romance.
There's two different things in what you just said, but I do want to acknowledge Gwen. Esther, we're not. Listen, a girl can dream. That's awesome. As well as Laura saying, my 6.5 K stories are in the hour-long category, so that gives us kind of an idea of where we're shooting at, as well. But there's two things in what you said. Yes, if you're reading kind of a wolf story or a lot of paranormals, even vampire clans, different things, there are a ton of people because generally you have a ton of people in those packs. As well as if they are in a small town, there's a lot of stuff. But those are full on stories. A lot of times, like I'm in a series right now that is a pretty good series. And Morgan, if you want me to send you the link, I will. It is a wolf pack, so it is different than what you have going on with yours. But because it is a short and because it is a short, steamy romance, it's like the prologue has one person in it. The first scene in the first chapter has maybe the pack and kind of the love interest and a couple of other things in that first chapter. And then I really want to say the rest of the story is full on based on those two people. Like one character may show up, maybe two, but the rest of it is fully just those two people. Getting to know each other, like building the romance, talking about the sexual tension, all of that. That's it. And there's another one that I read, which I don't think it might be closer to a 2 hour that does have a little bit more pack, but I would say maybe in the heart of the story, 4 characters. Like the beginning or the end might have, like a couple of extras, but it's like the core of it is the couple and then maybe 2 to 4 extra characters in
So
that. I don't know if that helps in figuring it out.
let me ask this and see, Tiffany, if you can give her some advice based on the question. If so, because we know she loves to write all the characters and she has like deep backstory for everybody, including the barista. So what I'm wondering is
I
if
really feel like there is a backstory to the barista, so I definitely agree with that.
my point is, I think, and again, we're going to give her a chance to read so that everybody can hear the story and they have an idea what we're talking about. But we're doing that thing that we all said we hate when people do is they talk about something that no one's heard or anyway. But let's keep doing that. So I was wondering if she writes it because that's her natural instinct, and then you recommend going back and cutting the like fat later. You know what I mean? Like going back and saying, "Oh, this isn't as important," and you know what I mean?
It depends on.
And then read.
Okay, because I'm going to use JC. I don't know if you're still here, but I'm going to use you as an example. If you're a JC writer where once you write it, you're in love with it and you don't want to take it out,
Oh,
I'm a reviser.
Right. So that's why I'm like, then I don't. If you are, and I'm going to use Eva as well, who also, from what I understand, she makes it sound like she does not mind cutting.
Yeah.
Then go ahead and write it. But what I would have you do, and this is just a me thing maybe, because this is how, like, if you jumped into Speed of My Heart or Dare You, which is a Peach Ridge series, like I remember sending something to Deidre, and she was like, "Oh my god, you have a bunch of people here!" And in the whole series and in the whole setting of that town, I probably already know like a Gwenna level. I'm just using everybody in the chat. I probably know like a Gwenna level amount of characters that are in that story. Which, if y'all missed Gwenna's live stream where she talked about one of her stories that has like 200 and something people in it, I don't maybe have 200 or something, but I have probably a bunch of folks. Um, they're not all in that story, but I know their history. I know how they interact. I know how everybody works together. I know who's like a secondary character, who's like a main character, what stories they could show up in, what stories they might not show up in. So I have that in my head. It's all in Notion. Shameless plug, check out my Notion series Bible. But
you're gonna demo it on Friday, next Friday's show. You're welcome.
But like I have all those people in my head. They're not all in every story. So if it would work best for you, I would say, even if it's just a loose on a piece of paper outline of this person is this person is that, this person's here. They don't show up in this story. They need to be in this story. They could be in this story. This is someone I love. We'll deal with them later. Type of a conversation that might help you hone in, because as like I agree with Barrett, I do believe you have a whole backstory for that barista that one day will come into play. But if you're looking to cut some stuff, I believe the conversation that they have in chapter 2, you could cut some of the barista.
Loved it.
I like her,
to see
but
it.
I do believe that you could cut some of her, especially because of what happens at the end of chapter 3. I feel like she's not going to be as important in this story as she may be later on.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Give us a little taste, a tasty, and then we'll dive into the rest of our thoughts and feels.
Okay.
What's happening?
Oh no, I was laughing because Gwenna popped up and she's like a Gwenna level number of characters.
No, keep going.
And then she was like, it's 250 with the latest outline.
I was like, man, that's a wedding. That's not a.
I know. I saw that you were like, Gwenna, 250 girl, that is a wedding.
It is a wedding. That is.
So yeah, I was cracking up. I just saw that. Oh
my God. This is their meet cute. Ready?
Oh, born ready.
Okay. Celine scoffed, putting the sandwich and muffin in her purse. No way. I don't think I could handle the rejection. I'll admire from afar. Lila sighed, standing and wiping the counter, a smirk still on her face. Fine. You would make a cute couple, though. And God knows one of us should get laid. Celine smirked and rolled her eyes as Lila pranced away. She grabbed their coffees and turned to leave. The collision was sudden. In a split second, Celine crashed into someone solid, and coffee was in the air. Her feet slipped and the floor sped toward her. She put out her arm to catch herself, but didn't need it. Firm hands and a soft body held her from face planting on the hard floor. Celine gasped as she clutched onto the arms holding her and stared into the ethereal face she had spent months admiring from afar. Amara, are you all right? Her voice was like honey, sending delighted shockwaves under Celine's skin. Words escaped her. She was sure she was gaping like an idiot. I'm so sorry, said Celine. Amara grinned, revealing a bright white smile that seemed to stop Celine's heart. I knock you to the ground and you're the one apologizing? She leaned Celine back until her backside was on the floor. Are you hurt? Did the coffee burn you? Oh yeah, the coffee. Celine looked at her clothes. Splotches of wet brownness stained her once off-white sweater and dark jeans. If she was burned, she didn't feel it. With Amara's hand still on her, she could barely feel her body at all. I don't think so. Lila rushed around from back of the counter. Celine, are you okay? Don't move. Something could be broken. No need to worry, Lila, said Amara. I saved her before any harm could come. Celine's heart fluttered. Amara hadn't taken her eyes off of her the entire time. Her gaze felt intimate, as if Celine were laid bare before her. The scent of Amara's perfume smelled of lilac and sandalwood. Celine wanted to stick her nose into the nape of her neck and live there forever. Oh, said Lila in a tone Celine knew all too well. Perhaps we should stand, said Amara. Celine nodded, and Amara lifted her to her feet. Amara's gaze traveled the length of Celine's body. And you're sure you're not hurt or burned? I'm sure. Celine eyed the coffee covered floor around them. The two discarded cups splayed in two different directions. Her purse lay in a puddle, but she didn't care. At least their breakfast was safe. Amara's flattering purple top and dark jeans that hugged her hips perfectly were also stained. Well, said Elila, breaking the intense staring match between Amara and Celine. As long as you're both fine, I'll get this cleaned up and make you 2 more drinks. Amara placed a light hand on Celine's elbow and steered her to the side of the cafe and out of the way so that Lila could clean. She picked up Celine's purse and handed it to her. Thank you. You're welcome. Please allow me to buy you new drinks. Oh no, said Celine. You don't have to do that. It really was my fault. I turned around too quickly. If you know me, you know I'm kind of a klutz. She gave an exasperated laugh. She was making a fool of herself. She had to be. But the look on Amara's face made her think she wasn't. A genuine smile. Those searching eyes. I insist. It's the least I can do. Celine smiled. What if I had a better idea? The way Amara looked at her made her heart race. Go on. I have a shop and counseling center across the street there, she said, pointing. Next week, I'm starting a new therapy group and need guinea pigs. Amara raised a brow. Guinea pigs? For what? Just to go over the class, see if it's helpful. You're not afraid of therapy, are you? Because if so, that's a bit of a red flag. Amara's laugh made butterflies swarm in Celine's belly. What the hell am I doing? Whatever it was, it seemed to be working. It didn't feel like 2 new friends chatting. It felt like more. She couldn't stop the thoughts of how it would be to take Amara's full lips in hers, her hands grazing that long, ethereal neck. The shop is closed tomorrow morning, so it'll be just the 2 of us. Amara's gaze flicked back to her. It may be my assistant Nat, she added quickly, but all I need is live feedback for the group before it launches. Seems like a fine exchange for ruining my favorite sweater. Amara stepped closer, gazing down at her in a way that set Celine's skin on fire. Just a moment ago, you tried telling me that this wasn't my fault. Seems blame has shifted. Well, I'm never one to call a lady a liar, said Celine in a small voice. The sound of Lila clearing her throat stopped their banter. Lila grinned widely, holding 2 new coffees in her hand. Back to reality, Celine felt buzzing coming from her purse again. It was probably Nat wondering if she had gotten lost simply crossing the street. I made you fresh coffee. On the house. Okay. I don't know if I should keep reading or not.
You could keep going all
Wow.
day.
Real quick, I want to go through.
Yeah, put up those comments. They're
you
good.
got a couple of great things. Barrett over here saying such a great line. And
Love
then,
that line about the neck. Same one Regina pointed out.
Yeah, because Regina was like, love that line, can live there forever, which also led into one of my favorite things where Eva said, no collarbones mentioned.
There's a lot of story left, Eva. So you wait.
And so, but I did want to point out, I think some people started going ahead and editing because Eva said, and if you want to trim word counts, check how often you use 2 objects descriptors where one could do the same job. And she pointed out muffin and whatever, firm hands and soft body, etc., as well as she also said, this is a great meet cute, the emotion, tension, and romance, both there. The clumsy vibe and heated desire all come across. Very true. And then smiled. Sometimes it's so implied with context and dialogue. You can omit this. Yeah. And I believe Gwenna also echoed to that. Yeah, there's a lot of smirking and smiling that is implied and could be cut out. So just wanted to cover those.
Smirking, by the way. Gwenna said while smirking, by the way. So.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
she also agreed, right? There's a distinctive lack of collarbones in this chapter. But you also got a great job, Morgan.
Yeah,
and then
thank
Deidre
you.
did come in. And I love Barrett
So
said,
good.
"We love you, Dee. Lay back
Thank
down."
you.
And then Eva also said several of the action tags could be omitted to improve pacing. The play by play is second by second, so the pacing is made a bit slower. Namely, anything was said, skip to the action tag. But you did also get a really great work, Morgan. Some dialogue could be clipped to be stronger, like the line about her being clumsy. You don't need the "if you know me, you know" phrase. And I think oh, Eva did say, "Sorry, I got editors edits gotta edit as I hear. As soon as I'm done hearing it, it leaves my brain forever." Regina did say your pacing is excellent. JC loved it. And yeah, the scene setting and characters are all well established. Love the scene. The tail end is slower with those action tags. LOL, I didn't even see that. Caught the tail end, but what I caught was really good. I didn't get paranormal vibes here. Did I miss it? No, it's not in the scene.
It's not there. I should probably have read something different with the paranormal.
It is established before this, so yeah, I can answer that for her.
I mean, I could read a little bit of that scene, just that short exchange, maybe.
JC did say, I will say there were times I got a little lost on who was saying what. Although I will ask JC, because I did see you backstage yesterday, and I know you're on some meds. Did we get lost because of that?
Real high. Did we get lost? I'm sorry too, and I was like, "Girl," but no, I do think if you're reading it, it also, because of the formatting and everything, that's probably like an editor thing, but you wouldn't be if you were reading it. So I will say that if it was in front of you, because I will say I sometimes get bogged down when people use too many like dialogue tags.
Yeah,
and I thought this was actually that was going to be one of my like positives for you, Morgan, was that I loved that the dialogue had like very few and moved fast. So I liked that. And then Regina said something about pacing. So yes. Yeah, name's so good.
Yeah, I was like, "There's no calling you out or shade. It's just, you know."
Oh yeah, no.
I feel like in text it would be easier to track, which is what Eva was agreeing with Barrett there. Dee does want us to know I am horizontal and may have also just woken up, which is always good. And Regina said, just a piece of unsolicited advice when it comes to your dialogue, make them sound the way you want. My editor tells me to ignore any accidental dialogue edits because she can't stop herself. Words, action tags, and action tags, words. And good to know. No, I'm not on that anymore. We are all out of it. So there we go.
Well,
so it is confusing aloud to me. So
it was confusing to me as I read it because I haven't edited in a while. I was like, wait, this sounds weird.
And I love that medication did have me very loopy. I've been editing all morning, so my brain is done. But also animal cake pre-roll.
You go.
So yes.
So let's go back to that question.
And is there stuff that even as she read it, that even while you were reading it, now that you hear it, you could see maybe could be cut out?
Definitely, I think you could go in and trim. Like I would have said the barista, some of that could have been shortened, and you still could have conveyed in a shorter way. Somehow they had a deeper connection with one another without so much between them. But I think it's a natural thing. I think you're building up a story like you would in a novel or something longer, because I only know this because I was doing the same thing forever. And I've only recently figured out like less is more. For me, I've been writing them and then cutting them because I'm okay with that. So like that would be what I would advise you to do if you're okay to cut it. Just write the story as it comes to your brain. And I will say I'm writing less of the secondary characters every second moment since I got Tiff's amazing series Bible, which you can get for $35 over on Ko-fi. But I'm using it less now that I have like pictures and like their personality, and I can like just refer back and like see what I need to know and then make it shorter. It really does help me write less of it, to keep it shorter. But no, so far I think if you keep it focused on them and what's going to happen to them now that the cliffhanger moment has happened, then or inciting incident has happened, then I think you're good. I think you can do this, and it's going to be great because I love their energy. They were giving me all the muffin lovin'.
Eva did say if I had read this as a reader, I'd have far less critique. So yeah.
Good to know.
I agree. I think that there is a bit that is implied with the conversation that you then also said.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and it is something that I think I said with Barrett even before he got, again, shameless plug, the series Bible. But
This should be a drinking game by the end of the show for the next
I know.
to see how many times we
but it's one of the things, it is a little bit of a shift, and it's something that Des and I did have to have this conversation with each other about. And I think that's one of the great things in all of us now trying our hand at the short stories.
Yeah.
Is it is a shift in not so much how you outline, but more so how you think about world building when you start to do shorts. And more so even that I don't think I got until I got into doing the Peach Ridge, in setting up a series where it is a town, there is a lot of people, there is a lot of world building to it, and bringing it into what can you show in this story, what can you show in this story, what can you show in this story, without trying, because we're so used to, especially for, I mean, fantasy, hello. Like there's a lot of world building and establishing, even just in that first full novel to get into the series or the trilogy or whatever it is that you're writing, even if it's a duology, and so I do think it would help to maybe, I'm going to use JC again. JC, I know right now she's kind of somewhat outline, and I know you've kind of done this too, like outlining like the first 4 or 5 like books to know where to start in. I would also, as you do that, figure out where, like I said, like the barista, where more of her story can come in when it's needed versus right here, where more of the building of the background for Celine with the horticulture could come in that maybe doesn't need to happen in this conversation or in the previous, or not the previous, the upcoming conversation in chapter 3, like certain things like that to kind of figure out how to keep that flow, but keep the word count short.
Okay.
And Regina did say writing shorter after all these novels is a challenge, but it is fun. And Deidre said, yes, that part, especially fantasy that requires so much just to understand the world. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think, okay. So what about the first question then?
Oh, Eva did also say my editor headband is on.
Yeah. What do you think about the magic in the world, Tiff?
Well, people in the chat.
Oh, wait a minute. Can you ask? Yeah, I was getting ready to get to that. Does your romance have the same POV throughout, or do you go back and forth with the MC and the love interest? So I'll let you.
It goes back and forth.
Okay.
So the chapter I just read was from Celine's point of view.
And yeah, you do have, I lost where it said, but Eva asked, could we hear or no. Yeah, here it is. If we could hear a paranormal excerpt, and then JC also agreed with that.
Yeah, I'll read the first little section of Amara's first chapter, since she's the immortal person. Okay. I'll just start here. Okay. The coffee shop was crowded for a Tuesday morning. The incessant ticking and buzzing hit her ears simultaneously on top of the low hum of conversation. She tried to ignore it as she made her way to the counter. The barista behind the espresso machine smiled graciously as Amara ordered. Today she chose a green mug and filled it with Amara's usual apple pie latte. Amara nodded in thanks and took her coffee to an empty table at the back of the cafe. She always tried to choose a table near the large window. If she could focus on something outside of the shop, the life clocks weren't so intrusive. If Amara weren't immortal, the constant ticking would drive her mad to the point of jamming that coffee stirrer into both ears until they bled. Most of the time, she could tune it out, but days like today made it impossible. Amara hunched her shoulders, trying to hide herself from the rabble of noises around her, and clutched the large ceramic coffee mug with two hands. She brought it to her mouth and breathed deeply, taking in the delicate autumn aromas of apple, cinnamon, and oats. Coffee was one thing she loved most about living in the natural world. They had coffee in Caicus behind the veil, but not as enjoyable. After taking in the smell, Amaro tilted the cup and drank deeply. It was still hot, but she liked how the heat of the delicious liquid coated, and probably scalded, her throat and landed warmly in her stomach. It made her feel alive. The buzzing of caffeine coursing through her veins made the ticking of life clocks only a tiny hum now. She took another drink and savored the taste, her eyes shut tightly as she did so. And I'm going to read another little section where her brother comes in.
I don't think we knew he was her brother, but now I do.
It says that, I think.
I don't think I knew that. I knew he was her brother. Was it in there and I missed it?
Let's see. Atlas chuckled as he
I'm
pulled.
muted and I'm over here going, yeah, it wasn't there. Because in chapter 3, and y'all can't hear me.
No, it is. It is. I just didn't know.
I will say, Eva did say they sure do smile a lot.
They do. That is my crutch word. I don't notice until they smile, they scoff,
and they sigh
a lot. They sigh a lot.
They sigh. I sigh a lot though too. I do a lot of, Ricky, did you bring home racist?
We love those little hints of paranormal.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had one
paranormal no dark given with that one line.
Yes. I had one. So I love paranormal. I would have said it was Chef's Kiss Perfect. I had one spot in chapter 3 and I left a note, and it's the one where I'm like, I have no idea. But there is one line where it just makes talking about shifting from one to the other. Mm-hmm. That, as I said in the note, it could be just a me thing or the way I read it that I caught it. But there may be someone who would be like, what does that look like? What does that sound like? What is that moment like? But other than that, I thought it was perfect everywhere. I thought it was subtle when it needed to be. And then in chapter 3, when it needs to be a lot more, it gets to be a lot more. Like it crescendos well, I thought. What did you think, Tiffany?
See, and now I'm reading it differently because I know you're worried about the word count. And so now I'm like, is there parts of that could be cut? Because there is a lot of world building and world setting.
Yeah.
In that, and it is possible that you could trim that a little bit. Now that you've read it, and I know that's a concern.
I mean, the whole story is not even finished, so I'm not really cutting anything yet. But
no, absolutely not. I always say write and then figure it out.
So you love how your friends like start cutting it at 3 chapters.
Oh
my man.
Yeah, no, I like everything that you're doing. It's just like now, like I said, I have that in my head, and I'm like, Eva does say, because she said and sections could be cut, but she also says this and that many times. It's a choice, and I love the voice, but that does plump numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, and then wait, I was late to the party. What is your goal in word count? Which it was somewhere around 20, right? It's the 2-hour read.
Yeah, 2-hour
section of Amazon.
Just she's pumping out those 20K words. I'm like 10 and done.
But
10 seems hard.
Well, no,
it's hard enough.
What I could see is a difference, and this is why I see as the difference, is that Barrett is looking at doing more along the lines of like how Desiree does, where it's a series, like maybe 3 or 4 books all set in the same conversation. The two people meet, insta love, there you go, you're together. And so that I could see in a 10K. You're building a world and like a series and like multiple stories with multiple different series that might go into this world.
Mhm.
And so a 20K makes more sense than that.
Yeah. The moment we were like physical to metaphysical, I was like, ma'am, you're gonna need some runway. We're talking physics. Oh man.
Okay, so Amara's scene spelling, which I believe that is how you spelled the name, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. The Immortal. The pacing is intentionally slow, right? Like she's moving through time in a different way from us. That entire scene could have more involved with it than. Oh, I thought this was her as well.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming there's another part coming for that. And then, yeah, the voice adds a ton more words, but I love it though. It may have to become a serial so you don't have to cut them. And I believe this is the second half of that. So that entire scene could have more involved with it than just the paranormal vibe, which could speed up pacing versus her entire scene being about coffee without much detail about beyond the veil, other than not as enjoyable. And I think that's what I picked up
Oh,
as
I
well,
see.
is
Okay.
because there is a lot of the
Oh,
coffee,
yeah.
the fall, the
Because I
feel
feel like that was intentional because Amara is very like her life is very fast
Fast.
paced.
Right.
And she's enjoying being in Black River where it's like slow and she can just
Yeah.
enjoy things and she's noticing everything. So she's
Yeah.
not really thinking about the other world. She's like, I don't really care about that. I'm just here to do a job. I'm enjoying the city. And
Yeah.
she's just
then
taking
I would
in
maybe,
the senses a little bit more.
now knowing that, I would still maybe cut some of the coffee or some of the fall, but I would leave that. No, I still would probably cut some of the coffee of the fall. But when the brother shows up, when Atlas shows up,
Mm-hmm.
I would speed up the pace of their conversation. Do you get what I mean? Like I would show
Oh,
that
because the
change
world they're in.
because he's part of that world that is faster paced.
Mm-hmm.
And like that movement is faster paced. So then I would speed that up and maybe show that in the dialogue. Like when they're on the roof in chapter 3, maybe
Mm-hmm.
speed that up. When it's just her and she's talking about the mark
Mm-hmm.
and the clock, maybe speed that up to show the difference between when she is with Celine and when she is enjoying just this pace of Black River and being in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the difference between the juxtaposition of the worlds.
Okay, I like that.
That's
Mhm.
good. I like that. You're good at this, Tiff. You should write books.
Well, I didn't know it at first until she said it. D also says, as in following the same people and push to a trilogy because I love the pacing. Oh, she's talking about if you wanted to do it as a serial.
Oh, she's all about those trilogies. She's on it, D.
But the pacing feels intentional though, Eva. So yeah, that's what we got. And then Eva also said, like maybe she has her coffee and she takes notes of how others are moving versus her own experience with the coffee, which could be another way to do it. Yeah, that part, Morgan, it feels intentional to me too as you read it. This in turn could take care of the descriptions of the coffee shop before from both of their POVs. Ooh, I can see that working too, Eva. Haha, you should write books. Yeah.
Really cool.
Oh, you see, you smart. And this is up to you, Morgan. Write it longer and recognize that editing it shorter may make it harder to push out versus just writing 30K word stories, which I think we're shooting for less than 30K.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
But I mean, I don't have to tell the entire history of the world since I am
No,
writing multiple books in Black
right.
River.
You've
Mhm.
got time.
Yeah, I have time to like talk about the city or town, and then also
After
talk about the magic side, the
yeah.
hidden part.
Yeah.
So
What you could also do, and again, this is in knowing,
mm, okay.
trying to think if it's in knowing some of the subtle stuff that you put in, or if it's in knowing where you want the story or where the story is going. So I'm trying to figure out how to say it without confusing people. There are subtle hints when she's talking to Atlas about their past. and what brought her to Black River.
Mm-hmm.
You could do a freebie, a perma free, however you want to look at it, that maybe is that 10K, delving into that other world and how we got to this point. That would give the difference also between the fast pace of Beyond the Veil and where she is now. I think that's the best way to say it.
Also good, Tiff. You should do that for a story. Like it.
Do I have a story that needs it? Eva said that's what I'm saying. Writing 30K stories may be easier to do quickly than writing 20K. Okay, so that's where we're going.
Don't worry about the word count.
Just write it naturally, trying to make it shorter. Yeah, that's probably good advice.
Yeah.
Deidre also said you could cut the history stuff and offer it as an extra / bonus content to give more context to your newsletter subs and leave in only subtle hints of the actual prose, which you could do that. You also could like some of that back and forth with the barista or some of the other stuff like in the horticultural therapy place that could be extras for your newsletter as well. And not me and Tiff having the same idea. Well, you smart too.
You smart.
Amara arriving into Black River could be a reader magnet scene that introduces paranormal and Black River without having any strong relevance to each story. That's a good one as well.
I like that.
That could be as like a reader magnet or something like that. That would be very interesting.
I was kind of already planning that though, but it wouldn't be Amara's story. That's kind of it's going to be someone else's story.
Oh, okay.
That's in the Westerfall family.
Okay.
Why someone else's?
Tiffany.
Because they're closer to the history of Black River than Amara is. Amara is just a newcomer.
Yeah.
Okay, no, the reason why I asked that is because like with Dear You, I did do a different character than I did for the rest of the stories. Amara feels like she's like gonna be a main character working through the series. So
this series, yes. Mm-hmm.
Then I would question, even if you're doing the other one that introduces Black River, have it somehow connect to her or to her rival. Simply because you want people, like, even though Dear You dealt with Piper and Ezra, Lucas was a huge part of that because I knew he was going to be the first series. So that's why, like, you want something that's going to kind of pull your reader into the next story. So that's why I would suggest maybe having Amara be part of it in some way.
Yeah. I mean, because I still don't know technically. I mean, I guess this is going to be the first book in the series. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, lots of ideas. I'm loving these ideas, though.
Yeah, because JC says, but the history seems important to understanding the story as you read it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Or anyone else arriving in, if there's someone else there.
Work for it. You know what I mean? Like, make them work for that history, maybe. Maybe let them pay a little bit for it. Make a little bit of that coin on it.
This is a great conversation. Loving it. Yay! Because she has an entire overarching plot she's trying to avoid, but she sees it. So this series will be complex web of plots, and it must be someone else's arrival to Black River, which is possible. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just, and I don't know what your whole vision is. I'm just saying you do want to make it where you do intrigue the people. And like one of the things that I did was in my newsletter, one of the scenes that Lucas is in, I actually switched it and did it from Lucas's POV. And that was how I drove people into the series. So just figure out how you're going to drive the people into the series is the point.
Okay. Because there's going to be, my plan is there's going to be multiple series that take place in the town of Black River. And it's going to follow different,
like, families
and different supernatural creatures.
Oh, okay.
So like
Okay.
This one I'm calling the Astrum series, and it's about the angels. And then
Okay.
there's like a series about ghosts. The Westerfall family that um, kind of founded Black River. So yeah, there's a lot of
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Uh, he
Busy.
also said yes, but the subtle hints to it would still be in the actual book because its importance and connection to the main story is what would draw the subs to the list. So I think she's talking about doing like the giveaway or something with the freebie.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that. It's a
But
good idea.
it's an interruption for me to be like, okay, I need to understand the history. Let me go to the newsletter really quick and then come back to the actual story.
I mean, I think I would still leave hints and clues, but like if I do a newsletter story, it'd be like just added like a deeper history. Like you wouldn't be confused about Black River. You would just be more clarified
Mhm.
if you read the newsletter story.
I will say to this point, JC, if you haven't read what's the newsletter books? Newsletter Ninja.
Yeah.
I was like, all I could think of was that cookie thing. If you haven't read those, one of the biggest points that she stresses, and I don't remember the author's name, I'm so sorry to you, whoever you are,
No.
um,
Sorry. Go ahead.
is that your reader magnet or your lead in, your freebie, whatever it is that you start with, should not require the reader knowing anything about anything else that you've written. It can eventually lead to what you're writing, but it should not require that. So that wasn't what I was suggesting. I don't think that's what Dee was suggesting, is that it would be the interruption where you have to go back. And that is one of the things that she does use as an example. It was somebody, Tammy, thank you. That was one of the things that she does use as an example. Somebody, I don't remember who it was, did either an excerpt or it was like a freebie or something like that, and if you hadn't read it, then you didn't understand something else that happened in that story. And she was like 3 stories into the series or something like that before she finally figured that out and was kind of a little ticked off. So that's not what I'm suggesting, but I more so, you do like to have it, if someone picks it up, you want them to have a reason to then go to your other stories.
Right.
So yeah.
I love all this chitter chatter, this debate, this
Yay.
discussion.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
still can have stuff that's like your extras that don't take you out of the story, but just enhance it. So it's, and most of the time, and that's the other thing with the Ninja second one, she does go through a list of like what your extra or your cookie or whatever it is could be for your newsletter, and like extra scenes from somebody else's POV, random stuff with like, what is it? Side characters can be something. All these different things that can tie into that story, but aren't necessarily needed for you to read in order to understand the main stories.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your brain is fascinating.
Yes.
But it sends you to the newsletter, which achieves the goal. Yeah. It's like reading any other book too. You would know things and get refreshers. Not dramatic enough to take you out of the story though. Yeah. Nothing missing, right? Got you. Yeah. Tammy Labraki? Is that how you say her last name?
I'll let you try. I wasn't sure.
I don't
So
know.
Yeah.
For some reason, all I could see was barbecue, but that's not what it's.
I like barbecue. You can use the story as a magnet too. You can.
True.
I will say though, I've noticed, which
People
I didn't know this was a big thing, but if you are gonna, we're using BookFunnel, and like we've been doing a lot of group promos, and there are some group promos that won't let you use a portion of the story. Like there's a lot that won't let you use a portion of the story, even though I know that a lot of people do.
Huh.
So yeah, I was very surprised how many of them have that. But then they also have like certain, newsletters subscriber numbers and all kind of crazy stuff going on.
Right.
Yeah, Newsletter Ninja. Yay! What I say? Companion novels often have extra information if you read them all, but you can read one and never miss out on anything too. Versus sequels where you need to read the first prequel first. True.
Right.
Not barbecue. I love Morgan.
Le barbecue. Time in the barbecue.
Tip, excellent advice. You can include
Never
Easter eggs from other stories, but none that make the reader feel left out. I let one of my favorite vampires make a cameo in the short.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Mhm.
I like it.
There's a
Well, have we made you feel stronger, better, more able to face your story? And
or have we confused you completely?
if they're going,
No, this is great. I have a lot of ideas on how to evolve Black River.
I can't
So-
wait to read their schmecks.
So
It's
yeah,
gonna be hot. They're building up a hot little scene together.
Yeah.
Those stakes just kept getting higher. One of the best cliffhanger make you want to read the next chapter lines ever too in chapter 3 at the end. Truly.
closed door cuts a lot of words too. I mean, it does.
It does, but these two,
I'll just cut out all the smiling and nodding and
yeah, these two are gonna be on the page, smiling, nodding together.
That is a. I do have a question because I know we generally leave like the romance to the writer's room, but we do have a number of different romance writers in here. In the sense of short stories, what do you guys think is an ideal word count for a smexy scene?
Oh,
Since you said closed doors cut a lot of words, because
for
I
me,
do
500
sometimes.
or less.
Well, but I will tell you guys, I do sometimes, especially when I'm doing the ghostwriter stories. I know that my smexies average anywhere between 1,500 and 1,800 words.
Words?
And
For
so I
what?
will sometimes leave space for that. And when I'm evolving my word count.
Okay, I need to buff mine up a little bit then because people are not getting that much.
If I'm doing a smexy scene, it can range anywhere. And sometimes it's not the full on smexy.
1,800.
Sometimes it's the lead in and the foreplay. But it's like somewhere between probably a 15 to an 18K. If I'm really into it, I may hit a Gwenna.
I haven't actually written one
2
yet.
to
So I
3K.
don't know.
That makes more sense. There's okay, but like if your word count gives you that much, like run. Okay, Deidre's is more. Yeah, 500, maybe 750. Yeah, 1,000 is still feel
10%.
wow.
Like I said,
What
did I say 2 to 3K? But I'd expect at least 2K. But
Clearly,
also,
my people are just like, don't even bother with just.
I'm trying to do between 750 and 1K. But girl, it's a struggle. Fred is like, what are y'all doing in that smexy scene?
Right, like really though. What are like what?
Okay, here becomes the question though, because
ouch, Gwenna. Ouch. Okay.
it's like
Wow.
I've been to the
really
depths of
brought the
fiction.
real.
Anything
Really
less than
lunch
boring,
before I had that thrown at us.
My vampire smexy is more sensual than sexy, and I think it's this part. That special magic between a vampire and a victim, maybe a page,
Yeah.
300
That's
words.
where I try to land with you. Well,
A runway should get 20%. That's normally my word count for a full length Gwenna. 10% flight. The other 70% should be emotional plot for me. 10 to 20% is good. What don't you do in it? I think it depends on how you're going to write it, which would be whether you're doing emotional smexy or if you were doing just wham bam thank you ma'am.
Yeah.
Which must be what I'm doing.
Juju says, but remember Barrett's word count is like 6 to 10K. You said, right, Barrett? So 500 to 7. Yeah, that is good.
And they're doing it twice. So sometimes 3 times. So, total, I might get to 1,800 words of schmexy in a story.
In a smexy scene.
Per one, don't do murder. Yeah, I know, right?
Uh,
Screaming. This is fun.
I don't need 1,800 words of a sexy scene, but that's just me.
Jeez.
Oh.
I know.
But even dark romance comes close to murder, so not even that though.
Mhm.
But like 1,800 words is not just like the full on we're together. It's like, like maybe we're getting into the room, maybe there's a conversation, maybe there's clothes coming off.
Oh, you're getting consent in there
Some
too, and mine are
kissing,
longer.
maybe there's, like all
I didn't
this.
know we were talking about the like consent part. I thought we were just talking about like once we'd gotten past, like we'd signed all the documents and we were around.
No, that's why I said my whole full smexy scene
Oh, okay.
is somewhere around 18.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
I haven't written one. I don't know.
They're fun. It's just ridiculous.
Thank you, JC. I don't know if I've ever just counted word count of just the smexy to see how long that is. I just know how long the whole scene is.
I mean, I guess it's good to know how much time you need.
Well, but I also, and again, I don't worry about it when I'm writing my own. It's more because I know what's expected for the ghostwriter, like how many word count, where the word count has to stop. And so I have a different sense of when I'm writing stuff with that one. And they want a lot of stuff going on in that. Because it should be present through the experience as the levels escalate.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very true. But there is kind of a certain, I don't know, once you get into the smexy, there's a little bit more in there. I skim those scenes and just take note of which words the author uses for various body parts.
Yeah.
So many words, man.
There's so many.
That's my favorite.
And there should be escalation, towards a climax. Consent for me is inside the smexy. So yes. Morgan, your story sounds terrific. Trust your instincts. Absolutely. Depends on the scene though. Same with fashion. I take note of which descriptors the author uses and continue.
Yeah.
And it is true. Like some people, I can get that. Some people, I read one story and I was like, I've had less description, like reading, somebody's article about a fashion show. Like it was like the red of the outfit with the spaghetti straps and the sweetheart neckline that almost had like a heart shape over the breast. And then there was like the rouging that went through the way. And I was like, seriously? Just tell me it's a red dress. I'm good.
I already deleted it off of my Kindle. I already stopped reading it and deleted it from my library.
This right here, 2 paragraphs for her fancy dress.
A fancy dress.
Literally. Black fancy dress. I'm getting very specific. True to what Regina said, you can listen to our preferences all day long, but at the end of the day, you've got to do you. My Lulu Wells lesbian sci-fi novel has a plot in some chapters and sensuous smexy in different chapters. So
yeah.
2 girls are main sure.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done 2 paragraphs of
because who has a 2-paragraph orgasm? Like who?
That's unrealistic.
Like at some
Sally
point,
from when Harry met Sally in a lunchroom. No.
Exactly. Everybody would come out of that story and be like, I just couldn't see it. I don't know. By that 2nd paragraph, I no longer believed. Took me out of the story.
But Morgan's prose is so vivid. I can just imagine how good the smexy parts will be. LOL. I know you got that covered. So yes, just write what feels right. I've read her edits of the smexy part. I'm pretty positive she's got that.
Just fine. Just fine.
Because anytime somebody reads your edits and in the smexy, she's like, okay, where are her legs?
I just need to know where everybody is. Where's the legs? Where's the body parts?
Morgan's like drawing out things.
I need a diagram.
He's like, let's
how this is possible.
So yes, I read our
Their
edits.
leg
I know,
doesn't bend that way.
So is there anything else that we need to help you with? Anything else we want to go over just in general for the writer's room, or
When are we meeting again,
in
team?
November?
At whose house, Morgan?
Mine.
Yay.
It is
Yay.
November 12th. Yes, November 12th.
Oh,
on
good.
At what time o'clock? 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock.
Is it always at 1 o'clock?
I guess so.
That's my question, because y'all,
Because
I
I was
logged
like,
in here
is
at
that
12
what?
because I was like, don't we normally meet at 12?
I wasn't sure. And
I
then
wasn't
like
either. I
on
was
Saturday,
really
everybody
confused.
I was on the stream with Laura and they were like, "What time is the show?" And I was like, "It's at o'clock." And if you're subscribed to Tiffany, then you'll know what time that is. Because
Yeah.
you'll get a notice.
I thought it was at 12. And then I was like, oh, it's at 1. Okay.
It's at
I
1.
thought it was at 12 too, and I'm the one that said it. I almost text y'all to ask because I was like, did I do
It's
this?
on your
I
channel.
mean, I think it's I put 1. I think we discussed 1 at some point because
it's 1. I think
it's
1.
on the thing.
It's 1 now. So we're
Yeah,
meeting
okay.
at 1.
There we go.
Even personally at 1.
Yeah.
See, y'all,
And
we
then
don't
we
even.
can quit asking each other once a week. Is it noon?
Eva will be 43 for
Yay!
which
That's
is way
fun.
cool. I will be 2 days away from my birthday for the next one. So
Mhm.
Woo!
that's all I remember. Farther than today, even.
Even
Yay.
one.
Yeah, we have lots of birthdays in November, right around when we meet with the writers' room. So
Yes.
woohoo!
I'm sure people will be streaming in November. Morgan, are you going to do an everyday thing again, or have you decided to like keep your sanity?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Baby
We'll
steps.
see what happens.
Yep. No pressure. No pressure.
Ooh. Oh, I might bite the bullet and submit a part of one of my stories that I have talked myself
Please
out of so many
Do
times.
it.
Speaking of
bite
things-
your bullets off here, and people send your stories. Come on with us. Talk to us about your stories. We won't bite. You don't have to come on here with us if you're afraid of our energy.
We might be a little chaotic, but it's all in fun.
Always
All part of the charm.
All right. Well, guys, tell everybody where they can see you guys next, what else you got going on, what's happening in your worlds. Tell people where they can follow Kyra?
Kaya.
Kaya. I knew it was something with I can't. Y'all.
Am I going first?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Hello, I'm Morgan Lee. I'm a indie author of 2 books so far in a dark fantasy trilogy. Book 3 comes out at the beginning of close to the beginning of next year. I'm also starting pen name, writing under Kaya Sloan for paranormal short romances. I have an Instagram for Kaya Sloan, and then I also am working on a website. So I'll put the Instagram link in the chat. And I don't know when I'll be streaming again. I'm going to come back some point. So subscribe to my channel. That's it.
Yay. Hi, I'm Barrett. You can find me at my name on the places on the web. I hang out with these lovely ladies once a month on our different channels doing our craziness. Come be a part of it. It's fun. It's disorganized. You won't forget it. I gather on Fridays, sometimes Saturdays, with Laura Nettles to do romance flash fiction. It's tons of fun. If you want to join us, we're always looking for guest hosts. So reach out to one of us. We only do one at a time, so we can try to focus more on the writing and like the stories. Also, you can write to the prompts and come up with us and read them. We would love it. And then I do this with these lovely ladies as well as AuthorTubers React, which is quarterly, but we're getting together for Friendsgiving. So look for that in November. And happy Nano, everyone. Love you all. Thanks for having me, Tiff, to your house. I took my shoes off.
Absolutely. I love when you guys come visit. This was fun. Be sure to follow all of us. I don't know if I have any of the links in the boxy box, but I will work on that. You can always check out my TL Russ stories or my Desiree stories. I will be back on Thursday for PJs and Scribbles, I believe. Yeah, I think that's it. Until then, just because we said it was going to be a drinking game. If you haven't checked out, shameless plug, social or my series Bible Notion, go check those videos out, and you can also purchase it over on Makofi. So hope you got whatever drinking game you wanted out of that. And we will see you on Morgan's channel next month, November 12th. And until then, check us out all over the webs. Bye.